Continuing on with my second round preview and predictions for the 2019 NHL playoffs, we have the New York Islanders hosting the Carolina Hurricanes. Now this series gets underway tonight, and it definitely should be a fun one, and these were two teams that a lot of people didn't really see being in this situation, but in the second round, here they are. Both played very, very well in the first round, with Carolina beating the Washington Capitals and the New York Islanders sweeping the Pittsburgh Penguins. So this should be a very, very fun series, and it's kind of a toss-up in terms of who I think is going to win. So without further ado, let's get right into it. The Carolina Hurricanes against the New York Islanders in the Eastern Conference semifinal. Now taking a look at both teams' offensive leaders through one round of the playoffs. Obviously the New York Islanders swept the Pittsburgh Penguins 4-0. They were led in goals by Jordan Eberle with 4 goals, assists Matt Barzal with 5, and total points was Jordan Eberle with 6 points. And Jordan Eberle really played like a star caliber player in that first round, and for the New York Islanders that is a very, very welcoming sign, because this is a team that doesn't really have a bona fide superstar. I guess you could consider Matt Barzal as kind of like a rising star, but not really a superstar player, and in my opinion a lot of guys had to step up for this team in order for them to be successful in this postseason, and that is exactly what happened in the first round of the playoffs. And I definitely think Jordan Eberle is going to have to keep up, maybe not at this like 4 goals a round pace, but definitely keep up and be chipping in offensive production here and there, definitely be doing better than he did in the regular season. Now taking a look at the Carolina Hurricanes, like I said, they defeated the Washington Capitals 4-3, so it took them 7 games, but this team showed a lot of fight, showed a lot of resiliency, and played a very, very good first round, and knocking out the defending Stanley Cup champions is no easy task, and it really just capped off a really crazy first round of the playoffs. They were led in goals by Warren Foegele with 4 goals. That is something a lot of people probably didn't expect. Assists, Jacob Slavin with 9 assists. He had a fantastic first round. I was very impressed by him, and Slavin was also the leader in total points with 9, obviously from all those 9 assists. So I definitely think Slavin is going to have to continue to be a bona fide number 1 defenseman if they want to go deeper in this postseason. And they're coming up against the New York Islanders team that is very hot. They haven't lost a game yet in the playoffs, and this definitely should be a very, very interesting series. The Islanders do have home ice advantage as well, but Carolina showed that doesn't really mean anything because they were able to win Game 7 on the road in Washington. So definitely a very interesting series, and there's a lot of moving pieces and factors in this, but I definitely think it should be very, very exciting. Now taking a look at the team stats for both of these teams after one round of play, the New York Islanders scored 3.50 goals per game, which was 3rd out of any team in the playoffs, but that is a pretty small sample size considering they only played 4 games, and they only allowed 1.50 goals against per game. But like I said, small sample size, but that is still a very, very impressive stat. They had a power play percentage of 15.4, which is nothing new to the fans or the New York Islanders team because they had a pretty awful power play in the regular season as well, but luckily for them, their defense and just overall ability to keep the puck out of their net carried over to the playoffs, as well as they had a penalty kill percentage of 90.9, which was 2nd out of any team in the playoffs as well. So the New York Islanders special teams isn't really where they specialize in terms of on the power play, but they definitely really do have a fantastic penalty kill, and hopefully that can carry over into this series. And then you take a look at the Carolina Hurricanes. They scored 3 goals per game in that 7-game series. They allowed 2.86 against. They had a power play percentage of 12%, which was even worse than the New York Islanders, and a penalty kill percentage of 75%. So against this New York team, they definitely want to clean up those special teams because New York has a very, very good penalty kill, and Carolina not a very good power play. So definitely you could see how that kind of goes. But in the playoffs, anything can happen. Don't really look too much into these stats. It's just fun to get an idea of how these teams sit and where their special teams and all the stats lied after one round of play. But definitely it is going to be a very tightly contested series in my opinion. Carolina is riding a wave of momentum, but so is the New York Islanders, so it's a pretty tough one to predict for me, but let's get right into my prediction. After going back and forth for a little bit, my final prediction is the New York Islanders to take this series in 6 games. I definitely think it could go longer, and it definitely could go either way. I think Carolina could definitely win this, but my prediction and the main reason is goaltending. I don't really trust Peter Mrazek to go on a deep playoff run. Even though he did look pretty fantastic in the first round of the playoffs, I definitely would give the goaltending edge to the New York Islanders, and I just think the Islanders defense is going to be too much for Carolina to handle. I think they do a really good job of keeping teams out of their end and playing most of the game in the offensive zone. I think that's not going to bode well for the Carolina Hurricanes, but like I said, in these playoffs, it really is tough to predict anything. This is just my prediction. I honestly could see it going either way, but my final prediction is the New York Islanders to advance to the Eastern Conference Finals, defeating the Carolina Hurricanes in 6 games. So that is going to wrap up this video. I really hope you guys did enjoy it, and make sure to let me know down in the comment section any video suggestions that you guys have and your predictions for this series especially. And with that being said, I hope you guys all enjoyed the video. If you did, please make sure to drop a like on it and subscribe to the channel for daily NHL content, and I will see you guys all in the next video.